Hi guys, Sajjad Hussain again with a new video. In this video I am going to explain the responsive spectrum analysis in SAP 2000. You can see this model was used before for P delta analysis. So now what I did, I am using the same model, but I deleted all the load cases for P delta analysis. As you can see, P delta analysis, all load cases are deleted, but I kept the wind load as it is, I kept the earthquake load, and I kept the model as it is. The model which I am following here, as I explained before, it was a 12-story building as shown here. The plan is here on the top. You can see there are 5 bays in X direction at 24 feet and there are 3 bays in Z direction or Y direction. They are at 24 feet, same. The elevation is like this. There are 11 stories as 12 feet high and the first floor is 15 feet high. Seismic parameters are given like this. Site class is D. Importance factor is 1. SS value is 0.424 G. And S1 is 0.094 G. The site coefficient FA is equal to 1.6 and FV is 2.4. Based on this information, what I did, I calculated the base shear before. Here is the calculation for the base shear. And meanwhile, using the equations given in ASC 710, I developed the responsive spectra. So here is the responsive spectra shown. These are the functions for the responsive spectra, and these are the limits. So based on this is the shape of the responsive spectrum. Now, what is a responsive spectrum? Basically, responsive spectrum is the sum of all the maximas. This is an acceleration responsive spectrum. We can have velocity responsive spectrum or a displacement responsive spectrum, but here I am using the acceleration responsive spectrum based on this function defined in ASC 710. Now I am going to use the same responsive spectrum in SAP 2000 and I will perform the response spectrum analysis and we will see the result. This response spectrum analysis is permitted in ASC 710 or 7510, whatever code you use, but it is permitted. Let me show you the reference here. If you open chapter 12, then para chapter 12.9 of ASC 710, it says that modal responsive spectrum analysis should be as follows. First, the number of modes. It says that an analysis shall be conducted to determine the natural modes of vibration of the structure. That is fine. The analysis should include a sufficient number of modes to obtain a combined modal mass participation of at least 90% of the actual mass in each of the orthogonal horizontal directions of the response considered. Now, it does not give you a number of modes, but there is a thumb rule. Let me show you. Here we have 12 stories. Every story will have 2 translational degree of freedom and 1 rotational degree of freedom. That means there are 3 degrees of freedom for every floor. So if there are if there are 12 floors, so 12 multiplied by 3 is at least there should be 36 mode shapes we should use. So let us see our definition of the modes. Here in the modal load case, number of modes here defined is 30. Let us increase it to minimum 36. Let it increase little bit more, so say 50. Mass ratio is mass source is there, we have already defined before, so we will not change anything, we will keep as it is, right. So hopefully when we will run this model, and there will be 50 mode shapes, so the modal participation factor should be more than 90%. So let us have an initial run without having the responsive spectrum function definition. Just we want to know the modal participation factor. So let's have an initial run. Now let us see from the table. We are not interested in base shear now, we are interested in modal participation factor. So here is the modal participation ratio. So it's reaching almost 99%. Okay. We can see the modal participation mass ratios over here. So when we reach to the 50th mode, is almost 99%. Z is not our important, 89. So in both the direction we are reaching up to 99%. So that means 50 mode shapes are good enough. So far what we have done, we met the first condition, that is we met the condition of para 12.9.1. that means we have sufficient number of modes where sum is more than 90%. Then what para 12.9.2 says, modal response parameters. It says the value of each force related design parameter of interest, including story shift, support forces, and the individual member forces for each mode of response, shall be computed using the properties of each mode and the response spectra defined in either section above, that is 11.4.5 or 21.2, divided by the quantity R over I. So that means the modal response or the parameters which we receive, we have to divide it by R over I. So let's see what was R and what was I. I for earthquake, if you remember, I was 1, and this was the modal response spectra. here. We used R as 8, omega as 3 and CD as 5.5. These values were same for both the directions. So R was 8, 8 divided by I is 1 is 8. So what we have to do here, as per para 12.9.2, that the total modal response should be divided by 8 for our condition. R over I is 8. Where we are going to use this one? So we are going to use here when we are going to define a new load case, which is the responsive spectrum load case. But before that, we have to define a function which is the response function. So let us define first the response function. This response function, it should be based on, since we are following ASC 710, so it should based on ASC 710. 710 is not there, so IBC 9 or IBC 12, it will be the same, or we can even take 716, it will have no impact. So let's take the 716. Here we have to give a name. The name is responsive spectrum. We have to define SS and S1. We know that our 0.2 second SS value was 0.424 g. 1 second spectral acceleration was 0.0494. Long period, normally 4, 8, we can take 8. Side class was D. The side coefficients by default 1.46 and 2.4, okay. So these are the values calculated. And now you can see this mode shape. This mode shape is very similar to the mode shape which we have defined here. Here our abscissa has only 4, we can change it to 8. So now you can see this mode shape is exactly same as the responsive spectrum mode shape defined by SAP. So far this is okay. Damping ratio is 0.05, 5%, that's fine, okay. So we can use this responsive spectrum function for our responsive spectrum analysis. Now we are going to define a load case, a new load case. So before that we have to define a load pattern. No, load pattern is okay. We have to define a new load case. Define a new load case. Let me response spectrum. Acceleration. Here we have to select responsive spectrum. Now we have to define responsive spectrum the design type is responsive spectrum, load case type will be responsive spectrum. Now here modal combination. The modes we have already calculated, there are 50 modes. Those modes will be combined by either CQC, that is complete quadratic combination, or there will be SRSS or absolute or GMC, etc. So let's select the modal combination CQC, which is preferable option as compared to SRS. So we will select modal combination technique for CQC. Then our modal load case is modal, there is only one, no problem. Here the load type is acceleration, U1, function is responsive spectrum, scale factor, this is very tricky. What is this scale factor? The responsive spectrum which we have defined, we used acceleration in terms of acceleration due to gravity g. The ratio was 0.424 g or 0.094 g. That means it was a ratio. If we put value of 1, that means then again it will be a ratio of g, not the actual acceleration in feet per second square or meter per second square. We are using FPS system, so we shall be using feet per second square. That means our modal acceleration should be 32.2 feet per second square. In U1 direction we will add, and then again U2 direction we will add. Modal damping will be 5%, this is correct. Now directional combination, here the choices are SRSS and CQC3. Here the preferred option is SRSS. Why? SRSS, when it is combined, that means sum of square root of all square roots of sum of all. So this, when we will add this option, what will happen? It will square all the parameters and then sum it, and then it will find the square root. Square root of square of the sums. So first it will square all these values, and then it will add, and then it will find the square root. What is the advantage? Advantage will be all the negative values will become positive. So we will not have any negative value over here. That's why this is a preferred option over here. No eccentricity, nothing, fine. So we have added one load case, which is responsive spectrum load case. That is fine. We are not going to define any load combination over here. We are not designing anything. So let it be over here. We are not doing anything. So we are not going to change any load combination, because our intention here is to show the responsive spectrum analysis. Later on, combination and how it should be used in design, that's something different. That is not the case over here. At present, what I am going to explain here is the definition of responsive spectra and the responsive spectrum analysis, how it should be done over here. So remember that we have defined the scale factor as 32.2. Why we did it? Because we use the acceleration due to gravity, which is 32.2, and our parameter there was ratio of g. Now we are multiplying with g, so we will getting the acceleration in terms of feet per second square. When it will be multiplied by mass, that means F is equals to ma, so we will get the force, which will be multiplication of mass into acceleration. So let us run and see what happens. Let us save the file, analyze. Now let us see the table. Now we are interested in base reaction. Here is the base reaction. Let me copy this base reaction to date, model, knife, movement, earthquake. My reaction is not there. Let me see once more. Analyze, run analysis. Yeah, it is there. So let's see the base reactions. For how many load cases we have selected. Display, table. Okay. So response spectrum load case is also there. Now let us copy this to an Excel sheet and then I can explain what I want to show you. Export to Excel. Here is the Excel sheet. Now what we have to do, as per 12.9.1, we should have at least number of modes so that our modal participation factor should be more than 90%, which we have achieved. Then it says that sum of all the modes, it should be divided by the quantity R over IE. So let's see what result we are getting over here. So all mode shapes are here from 1 up to 50. So let us do some mathematics over here. We should say sum of mode shapes. Of course, reaction is there. So in this direction, we have to start from here and we have to go actually there are some negative signs also. If we change this negative into positive, it will come to 18.67. Just as an exercise, we can do it. Let us insert one column. So I can say this is equals to apps of all these. Okay. So same formula. So here we can see it is almost 15,689. Now let us divide this by 8. So divide by R over I. So that means this is equal to this divided by 8. So there is slight difference over here and here. Now the response spectrum, which almost the same, sorry. Yeah, we are not interested in this value. Let me clear this one. So now from here we are getting 1961, and as per SAP we are getting 1867. That means this mode shape has given us a value which is already defined by R over I. Right? So this is confirmed that SAP has already divided this by the factor R over I. Sorry. That means the condition for 12.9.2 is already met. That is very great. But then we have one more very interesting result. The base shear shall be calculated in each of the two orthogonal horizontal directions using the calculated fundamental period of the structure T in each direction and the procedure given above. That's fine, we have already done. Now the scaling of the forces. Where the calculated fundamental period exceeds Cu into Ta in a given direction, Cu/Ta shall be used in lieu of T. That's okay, we are not exceeding over here. But where the combined response for the modal base shear Vt is less than 80% of the calculated base shear V using the equivalent related force, the force should be multiplied by 0.85 G. 0.85. That means this base shear should be 85% of the base shear calculated in equivalent lateral force method. What is that over here? The equivalent lateral force give us a base shear of 672 in x direction, and in y direction again 672. These two values. Let me save this file. Okay. But now if we compare this value or this value 1867, which is calculated by SAP, this is almost 3 times higher. So what we have to do? We have to scale it down. So what should be the scale now? This scale should be equal to 0.85 and our force is somewhere here. Something wrong? What? Let this equal to 0.85 multiplied by this value. So actually our response spectrum value should be 571.438 instead of 1867. So we have to scale it down. So our scale will be here. This is not the scale. Our scale will be, that means this should be reduced by this divided by this. So that means, let's take apps. So now this scale factor should be used again over there. That means 0.306 something, and there we have used a scale factor of 32.2. so actually let's multiply this by 32.2 multiplied by 32.2 feet per second squared. So basically we should use this scale factor over there to get this response, the base shear, which should be 85% of the base shear of the equivalent lateral force, which is 672. So that means this value is 0. Let me note it down somewhere so that I will not forget. This value is 9.853429 means 3. So let us use this scale factor over there. Let's close this one. Let's close this one. So now we have to define our response spectrum case, modify. Now our multiplication factor shall be 9.85343, modify, and this one again 9.85343, it should also be modified. So this is how we obtain the scale factor. Okay, so let me run once more. Let's save the file before. Analyze. So directly we will go to response load case. Now we can see this is 571.438 exactly in x direction, y direction little bit lower, that no problem. So that means now our response spectrum base shear is 85% of the equivalent lateral force method base shear. So this is the right way of performing response spectrum analysis by SAP 2000. Hopefully you will understand whatever I have done, you will appreciate whatever is done over here. I shall be very thankful to you if you have subscribed my channel. Thank you very much. So I'm going to conclude my lecture over here. Thanks a lot. Bye.